Hello everyone and welcome again to another video of mine. Today I will sort of elaborate further on one of the statement um, made by the spokesman of TPNPB, or the West Papuan National Liberation Army. I think that was way back in June last year. And he made mention about the areas that are currently in the conflict, or the areas where the war is going on right now between the West Papua National Liberation Army and the Indonesian military and police. So in the actual statement or the videos that the spokesman of TPNPB, Sabi Samum, mentioned it very clearly to the Indonesian public that those areas, for example, in Induga, in Tanjaya, in Puncak Papua, in the Star Mountains, those areas are currently you have the Indonesian military and police engaging in military operations over there. So it's becoming a hotspot, or the area where the fighting is going on. So they've TPNPB, the spokesman, have made a public statement warning Indonesian civilians that live in those areas to leave, to vacate the areas. So recently, I think a few days ago, there was a shooting of some Indonesians up in about 10 of them, I guess, and some were seriously injured up in Induga in the Central Highlands of West Papua. And, uh, you know, as again, mentioned the warnings by the West Papuan National Liberation Army spokesman Sabi. He's actually warned Indonesian civilians that those areas like the hotspots like Induga, where the war is currently going on, they've warned the Indonesian civilians not to go there. But apparently, what happened is that they're not taking these warnings very seriously. So yesterday, a few days ago, we had about 10 Indonesians that got killed. And, you know, the we need to understand that those when there is a warning being given by the highest authority within TPNPB, or the West Papua National Liberation Army. In this case, the spokesman Sebi has actually mentioned, or warned Indonesian civilians in those area. I mean, in West Papua, not to go to those areas. But apparently, they're not listening. They're taking this lightly, so they're taking it kind of like a joke, like the liberation fighters are not serious or something. So I mean, yes, a few days ago we heard about 10 Indonesians. Um, well, they claim themselves to be civilians, but in reality, if you're civilians, then you should know very well. There is a warning being given. So why going there? Unless you are involved in something suspicious, or you're being engaged as a spy of Indonesian military and police, and then you will report that information back to them. So in this case, TPNPB has claimed responsible for the killing. So as I've said again, the spokesman has come out publicly and they've actually warned the Indonesian civilians not to go to those areas that are currently the war is going on, and they've warned them to vacate those areas. But as you can see, people are not really taking those matters very seriously. So what they're asking is that the civilians shouldn't be going to those areas, especially if you're Indonesians. You shouldn't be going there unless you've got some hidden motive, or you're supporting the Indonesian military and police and going there as spies. Then if they killed you, then you cannot blame anyone. You have to blame yourself. So um, yeah. So I was just I read about the incident that happened a few days ago, about 10 people that got killed. And as I've said again, like the warnings have repeated warnings have been issued by the West Papua National Liberation Army spokesman, Mr. Sebi Sabon, advising and warning all the Indonesian civilians, all Indonesians living in West Papua, to be very careful now that areas that are currently considered as the war area, they shouldn't be going there. At this stage, they only want the military and the police to be there. So if they shoot each other, at least they are following the rule of war. But when you have civilians going there, when they know that the warnings have been made, then if you go there and you get shot by the West Papua National Liberation Army, I'm sorry, you cannot blame the TPNPB or the liberation fighters for killing you. Yeah, you have to blame yourself, because they've actually followed the rule. They've made the statement is very clear. They've mentioned that in civilians shouldn't be fronting or going to those areas when there is an ongoing war or operations going on there. So um, sadly, the incident had happened a few days ago, where about 10 Indonesians that got shot, got killed. As I've mentioned again, the TPNPB has actually, the West Papua National Liberation Army, have actually issued a statement advising people not to go to these areas. But apparently, some people don't take those warnings very seriously, and now they found themselves, being shot at. So anyway, it's just an update on the statement that was made by Sebi Sabum, the spokesman of the West Papua National Liberation Army. And I thought I'm just gonna elaborate further on that. That there are warnings now being put out to Indonesian public civilians in West Papua to be very careful or wary about where your whereabouts when there is a statement being issued or warnings being issued by the West Papua National Liberation Army spokesman. You need to take these warnings very seriously. So if something happens to you, you cannot blame others. You have to blame yourself. So the Indonesian military and police will not protect you. So you need to understand that. So again, yeah, I thought I would just elaborate further on that. So just to get the message across to everyone in West Papua. So once again, thank you for watching my video, and I'm gonna talk to you guys soon.